Is it working? Anybody hearing sound through the speakers? Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 10:30, which means it's time to get started. If you have your phone, please silence the ringer. And if you have anything to give the board for consideration, observing and listening on YouTube is welcome to do so. It's just we can't communicate longer like we did when we were meeting virtually. With that, Dave is going to lead us off with an invocation, and then friend of the court, Tom Watson, is going to do a pledge. If you wish to join us in the invocation, please rise.
Everyone, please join me in a moment of silence for those we lost at the court 5 years ago, 7/11. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the opportunities it has to offer. Please be with us and guide our hearts and our minds as we come together today to make decisions that affect us all. May we always be here in support of one another as we continue to search for the most meaningful ways to serve you and our neighbors. Lord, we thank you for your presence here today as we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dave. Tom?
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, someone can verify this morning. It just doesn't look to me to be correct. It could be wrong. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Bell,
Present.
Curran,
Here.
Freeling,
Present.
Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman,
Here.
Majerick,
Here.
Meeks,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Allraff,
Here.
Werfel,
Here.
Yarborough,
Present.
Elliott.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 12 present.
Thank you. The minutes from last week were sent out. Haven't heard anything about changing them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as prepared and submitted by the clerk?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Scott, seconded by Majerick. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, I believe we have one communication.
Yes, you received one communication from the Better Business Bureau Educational Foundation Director Troy Baker, serving the Western Michigan, regarding partnering with BBB to protect our seniors, received on July 7th. That's all for communication.
Thank you. Sheriff, you have the floor.
All right, we want to honor some deputies and some citizens for doing an outstanding job and going above and beyond. So I'm going to turn it over to my undersheriff, my chief deputy, Chuck Height, and Robert Boyce to give those presentations out. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, we're going to honor the family of Dakota Cody Virgo, who lost his life earlier this year. He swept off this up here. Because of the generosity of the family, we were able to get a piece of equipment, which is called an Aqua Eye. And we brought it to show off. The Aqua Eye is an advanced underwater scanner using the latest in ultrasound and technology. It assists our divers going down there with visibility and being able to locate individuals. It can scan 85,000 square feet in 5 minutes, which is a tremendous advantage for us. And it could potentially save us hundreds of $1,000s and calling out other resources to help try to locate and recover victims or recover the deceased and bring closures to the family. So this piece of equipment was just over $4,700. And because of the great generosity of Cody Virgo's family, we were able to purchase and utilize this piece of equipment. Yesterday, we took this piece of equipment up to Allegan County. They had a missing scuba diver, and fortunately, they recovered him as our divers were suiting up to go help their dive team. So that family got closure immediately, and we didn't have to use this piece of equipment. Today, we're just receiving word there may be a missing fisherman off of the north pier in St. Joe. So this piece of equipment, as soon as we're done here, is going to meet up with our search and rescue person, our Marine Division, and our dive team, and hopefully be utilized today as well. So why don't the family of Cody come up here so we can properly thank you.
Should probably get something out there.
We're going to, but let's get a photo real quick. And then you guys can go on your way and we can go to our jobs.
We're glad Cody can help.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like the whole process with Cody was so awful, but the 2.5 weeks of, is today gonna be the day that, he's recovered was really so unbearable. So we hope that this, I hate to say closure because I feel like, this has changed our family forever, but it will at least help other families sooner.
His name will live on in memory every time we deploy this piece of equipment.
He always wanted to help people, so I feel like this is a great way to honor him.
We are extremely grateful.
Thank you.
So we have a couple of citizen awards to pass out, and Richard, you want to come in? So it's a Sheriff's Award for Excellence to Richard Vanderman. You're hereby presented the Sheriff's Award for Excellence for your assistance on May 26, 2021 to the Berrien County Sheriff's Office with the apprehension of an individual who was fleeing on foot from a deputy. Your courage, tenacity, and assistance was instrumental in apprehending this individual and safeguarding the citizens of Berrien County. L. Paul Bailey, Sheriff.
I thought we'd do that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So we appreciate your time. We're getting caught up. As you see, some of these were earlier, but with the first time back in person, so it's good to see you. The next two are Ricky Farrell and Ashley McCarty. So I'll read the one. They're both for the same incident. This life-saving award is presented to you with honor and gratitude for your actions on February 8, 2021, to assist an individual who had fallen into the water, a water-filled pit in freezing temperatures. Due to your selfless act and immediate response, you were part of the team that successfully evacuated this individual from the water-filled pit, and you were instrumental in saving the life of Anthony Cochran.
It's too late.
Yes. The next one will be a life-saving award for Deputy Michael Troop. Troop can get in a better position. So this life-saving award to Deputy Michael Troop, the life-saving award is presented to you with honor and gratitude for your actions on February 17th, 2021, as you applied the Heimlich maneuver on a 9-year-old student in the Buffalo Elementary School who was choking on some food and could not breathe. Your quick actions were instrumental in saving the life of this child. L. Paul Bailey, Sheriff. And remind you, as the school board president of New Buffalo, I say an extra thank you to Deputy Troop.
Hey, Mike. The wife says picture time.
All right. The next two, there's multiple deputies here, but we'll go with the certificate of accommodation. We have Deputy Grimm, Eberly, Plain, Rowe, Huddleston, and Crosby's here, and Captain Miller. So let them. So for this instance, they're each receiving the certificate of accommodation. Deputy Matthew Grimm, Deputy Benjamin Eberly, Deputy Robert Plain, Deputy Jason Rowe, Deputy Preston Huddleston, Deputy Brandon Crosby, and Captain Randy Miller. You are hereby presented with this certificate of accommodation for exceptional police work on April 10th, 2021. On April 10th, 2021, each of you worked as a team while protecting and serving our community. Based upon your professionalism, courage, and tenacity, 5 firearms were removed from the hands of alleged criminals. Your actions on April 10th, 2021 were instrumental in safeguarding the citizens and visitors to Berrien County. What I'll do is I'll read one of the plaques before passing them out. You are hereby presented with this certificate of accommodation for exceptional work on April 10th, 2021, which resulted in 5 firearms being removed from the hands of criminals. Your professionalism, courage, tenacity were instrumental in safeguarding the citizens of Berrien County. L. Paul Bailey, Sheriff.
Matt, can you move that way?
I can sign this, sir.
And then all of you turn and face the audience, because there's a few people that want to talk, but you guys. Okay. Boys, get out of the picture.
I'm dealing with the North Pier still. You got trapped.
No, it's the operator.
I thought it was a subject matter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Just if you wouldn't mind waiting.
Matt, Van, and Rob.
Yep. Last but certainly not least, a couple of the deputies will also receive the Medal of Meritorious Service, Deputy Eberly, Plain, and Grimm. On February 3rd, 2021, deputies Eberly, Plain, and Grimm responded to a priority call of a shooting in the 2000 block of M139 in the township of Benton. As deputies responded, updates were being given. The male individual was shot in the chest, and a description of the suspect was broadcast via the police radio. The deputies were also informed that a firearm was found on the scene and secured by another officer. When deputies Eberly, Plain, and Grimm arrived on the scene, they made contact with the suspect, who claimed that he had a gun and wanted the deputies to shoot and kill him. The suspect was given several verbal commands to surrender, and when he failed to comply, the deputies used less lethal force to subdue the individual. Based upon the deputies' training, experience, courage, tenacity, and resourcefulness in utilizing less lethal tools, this individual was apprehended, thus preventing potential harm to officers and civilians. And for each of them, again, we got a certificate, the Meritorious Service Award. You're hereby cited and commended for your actions on February 3rd, 2021 in the apprehension of Sean Retro, who had just shot and wounded an employee at the T-Mobile store in the township of Benton. Your courage, tenacity, and resourcefulness were instrumental in the successful apprehension of the individual, thus preventing potential harm to other officers and civilians. L. Paul Bailey, Sheriff. So with this award, it's one of the higher awards you get. There's also, real quick, there's a medal that goes along with that for them, for that award.
I don't know.
We'll go out.
Sheriff, anything else you want?
Swing around.
I want to take some pictures in here.
Sheriff Hall? Who is Deputy Grimm? Jenny's son?
Yes,
Okay.
he's my son and he has never listened.
Don't start now, Ben, but you can say you trained him well.
Don't start now. Bear with me.
We just want to thank the Board of Commissioners for giving us the opportunity to do this in public, to recognize the hard work of the men and women.
Deputy Grimm, say hello to your mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was the spelling correct?
She hasn't responded yet.
Gary Bruce would know. You want his mobile?
I can check with Shelley.
Okay.
So good, that was a good thing.
Okay, sent to Shelley.
Okay. Okay, the next agenda item is public comments regarding resolutions. Those comments would be limited to resolutions on the published agenda. General comments come later. Does anyone have a comment they wish to make about a resolution on the agenda?
Aaron Sheriff, Blackstone Township. I got a question about 273 and a question, a comment. Recently, spending of the why is that necessary? Without spending $10,000 without board approval, or you have to get board approval to still spend the $10,000. This needs to be a little more updated, a little more information here as to how this policy is actually. Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments about agenda items, resolutions on the agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll move to the consent calendar, and I'm trusting it's okay to pull 256 and 270 for independent reading. Those are the honorary resolutions. And otherwise to proceed with the consent calendar. Jim?
Mr. Chair, I just noticed something that the resolution that we passed this morning for today is not on the consent agenda. Should I have this added? 275. Yes.
Yes, this is an add.
Okay, thank you. Do I have an agenda?
You can make a motion
Is this on
to
there?
approve it.
Yeah, it's on there? It's on there. Okay, I must be looking at an old agenda. If it's on.
Okay, so if you're making a motion to approve the consent calendar, including 275, and to pull 256 and 270 for separate readings, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Is there support? Supported by Harrison. Moved by Curran, supported by Harrison. Any discussion? Do we need a roll call on that?
Not on the whole consent count,
Yeah, I
yes.
know we will, but just for pulling those.
No, because it was
Okay.
already on the agenda.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
Oh,
sign.
on the roll call, are we voting on?
Not
all?
yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks. Okay, so we're going to then go to the consent calendar, including added resolution 275, not including 256 or 270. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar with those adjustments? Moved by Bell. Is there support? Supported by Volrath. Any discussion? Ma'am,
I want to ask about the friend of the court. That's and the consent, it's not, we're not going to get to talk about it or know anything about it?
259.
Yes.
We can pull it if you wish.
Pull it.
Okay. So Jim, can we amend your motion and Dave, your support to also pull 259?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, we are voting to approve the consent calendar minus 256, 259, and 270, and including 275. Clear as mud? All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Yarborough,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas.
Thank you. We'll first go to 259, the resolution that enables the appointment of Lisa Jardine as the next friend of the court. Mamie?
And I just wanted to know, how is that done? Will this be put out as a job, or is it doesn't say acting, so is she made friend of the court? How does it work?
She will be the new friend of the court to replace Tom Watson, who decided 20 years was enough. So with the approval of this resolution, that formalizes the appointment, and she gets the better office.
Can I provide some additional background? This completes the search process. The courts ran a thorough and public search. Lisa was one of the candidates considered. She was found to be the best qualified candidate to take over for Mr. Watson. And so this would be the permanent replacement to take over for Mr. Watson, assuming she's willing to also stay for 20 years or longer.
Thank you. Is she here today?
Yes, right there.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the explanation.
No problem.
You need a motion to.
We'll need a motion and support, and then we can have additional discussion if needed.
I would like to make the motion, and I'd also like to offer her the opportunity to address us as the new director.
Very good.
And I support the motion.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? I'll share my 2 cents worth. I've known Lisa for a number of years. She captures a high level of knowledge and skill, and marries that with a very impressive professional demeanor. She is the friend of the court to the public. And I can't think of a more able successor. So with that, will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeling.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Hinkleman.
Yes.
Majerick.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Walrath.
Yes.
Werfel.
Yes.
Yarborough.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Curran.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas.
thank you. Lisa, would you care to say a few words?
Thank you. Wasn't expecting this exactly, but I'm so grateful. I love my work. I love the mission of the Friend of the Court, and most importantly, I have had such a distinct pleasure of working with Tom Watson. He has mentored me. He has included me in everything that he could include me in so that I could be as well prepared as possible. And following him is overwhelmingly exciting, but also just humbling. And I just hope to do half the job that he has done, and I'm just so grateful for the service that he has given to our office, to our staff, to our county, and to the court. And I'm humbled and grateful, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
If this is appropriate or not, but I would just like to say I have the utmost confidence, and I am, Lisa used all the acronyms and all the attributes and everything that I can imagine, also fine. I will tell you that I am ecstatic about her selection as far as the new Friend of the Court. I've worked with Lisa for over 10 years. She's an individual that, as Chairman Elliott indicated, she's an individual that is passionate about the business that we do. She's able to go ahead and understand exactly what our business is all about. Able to go ahead and relate that to the community that we deal with, and then also able to go ahead and be very communicative with the members of the public that we deal with on a daily basis. So from my perspective, this could not be a finer time for Berrien County. She will carry on the great work that the staff, not me, but the staff of the Friend of the Court have done over many years. So Lisa, congratulations.
Tom, since you're warmed up, we'll do a resolution that has some bearing on your tenure. This is B2107256. And I was nominated to read this, which means no one volunteered. The Honorable Board of Commissioners of Berrien County, Michigan approves the following resolution. Whereas Thomas G. Watson, a lifelong Michigan resident, graduated from St. Joe High School, Lake Michigan College, and ultimately Michigan State University with a BA degree in Business Administration, Accounting, and Finance. Go Green. And whereas following his college graduation in 1975, he returned to Southwestern Michigan, putting his expertise to work in the financial institution industry, where he remained for 28 years. And whereas in March of 2000, the Berrien County Board of Commissioners passed Resolution P0005090, which appointed Mr. Watson as the Friend of the Court. And whereas under his leadership, the Friend of the Court office has implemented 3 new case management systems, including a pilot of the MISIS system, was the first in Berrien County to transition office files to an electronic file management system, and has undergone significant reorganization and improvement. And whereas through the efforts of Mr. Watson, the Friend of the Court and Berrien County Trial Court have gained statewide recognition through his participation on the Michigan Friend of the Court Association Board as an officer and longstanding treasurer, as a leader and active participant in the Michigan Office of Child Support's Performance Management Workshop, and as a mentor and respected leader to court and county colleagues. And whereas not just a resident, but community-minded, he has been involved in the Rotary Club of St. Joseph Benton Harbor, Economic Club of Southwestern Michigan, Lakeshore Youth Baseball Softball Association, and is a United Way of Southwest Michigan leadership donor. And whereas the actions of Thomas G. Watson echo the mission of Berrien County by providing leadership, cooperation with all units of government, sound fiscal management and planning, thereby promoting public safety, health, well-being, and prosperity in order to improve the quality of life for present and future generations. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Berrien County Board of Commissioners formally recognizes Thomas G. Watson for his 21 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Berrien County. Be it further resolved that Mr. Watson's life, actions, and contributions reflect most favorably upon himself, his family, the friend of the court office, County of Berrien, State of Michigan, and the United States of America. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Moved by John, seconded by Julie. Is there discussion? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Yarborough,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas.
thank you. Tom, I think you're supposed to have this to take home with you. Are we doing handshakes again, or are we doing?
I'll allow it.
This is signed by all members of the board, and the best compliment is to say you're going to be missed. Oh.
Very good. Thank you. I love singing.
That's good.
Right by that line.
That mic's on.
This is I just want to take the opportunity. This morning I had the opportunity to address our administration, your administration committee for the final time. There's I back this to everybody, I guess, but there's a couple of things today. This was number one. Number two, we have for me anyway, with the final judicial council meeting. I've been on the judicial council at the trial court since the day I walked in here. I'm not sure if they needed me or wanted me on the council, but by statute, I have to be on the council. So I want to thank, he's not here today. I understand there's an event. Your new incoming friend of the court director indicates that there's an event on July 30th. I've not been told anything further than that, but this is quite a surprise today. And I will tell you, I am honored. And before I go any further, I need to introduce two people that are pretty special to me. Our daughter, Holly, who I don't know if you're aware or not, but Holly is our adoption specialist at the court. She doesn't report to me, but she is our adoption specialist, and I couldn't be prouder of her being with the trial court. My wife, Marie, she's put up with not only my 21 years here at the court, but also my financial institution career, which was quite lengthy also. I haven't done a very good job sometimes of having that work-life balance. And she has put up with that for all of these years. So I'm eternally grateful for her support. She certainly has been by my side the entire time. One final comment, I guess, and that is, I remember my very first day. You all may remember our current federal judge, Paul Maloney. Paul Maloney is a very good friend of mine and has remained so during the time that he's been on the federal bench. Judge Maloney, when I was selected for the friend of the court position, told me, he said, and this is no offense to any attorney that may be in the room, he told me, he said, Tom, I really wanted a non-attorney. I don't think attorneys are very good administrators. Having said that, he said, however, you are the first non-traditional hire of the court. I'm either going to look like a fool or I'm going to look brilliant. So I'm not sure he looks brilliant, but I hope I did not make him look like a fool. He brought me over. It was a Thursday. The board was meeting. I had a number of people on the board that I knew at the time, one of which was the chairman of the administration committee, now deceased, Neil Nitz. Commissioner Nitz was a very, very good friend of mine from the Baroda area, knew him my entire life. He gave me a raving vote of confidence when I walked in with Judge Maloney, and he turned to me and Judge Maloney and said, he's the new friend of the court. So anyway, Neil, we had a great run. But seriously, the support, I mentioned this to the administration committee this morning, Brian and I have had comments. I have had nothing but unequivocal support from all of you, from county administration, from all of you as members, and those of you before your office. The court is eternally a beneficiary of that relationship. There are, and you all know, there are arrangements, there are situations in the state of Michigan where that relationship does not exist the way it does here in Berrien County. From my perspective, from every one of the administrators in the court, I know I can speak for our judiciary, particularly Chief Judge Mayfield. We are eternally blessed to have the relationship that we do here in Berrien County, and that working relationship. We may not always agree, but we, at the end of the day, we understand, and we're able to go ahead and communicate and work together. And that's what is vital, and that's what's important. So from my perspective, it has been absolutely outstanding. The work is tough. The work we do is tough. The lady that is the new friend of the court will do excellently, and she'll have that same type of relationship. I know this individual very well. That relationship that I've enjoyed will continue. And the citizens of Berrien County will continue to be very well served under the leadership of Lisa Jardine. So from my perspective, I've enjoyed it. I've loved it. And God bless the Berrien County community.
To get used to this arrangement, this microphone, do my best not to say anything improper when the mic is hot. So far, so good, pretty much. Nikki, B2107270. Whereas Nicole Britton earned her Master's of Public Health degree from Yale University, and whereas she had a concentration in epidemiology of microbial diseases, as well as research associate experience with the Yale Emerging Infections Program. And whereas during the interview process with the Berrien County Health Department, she demonstrated an impressive scope of knowledge of infectious and chronic disease surveillance and commitment to the improvement of local public health. And whereas in 2009, she was hired as the epidemiologist for the Berrien County Health Department. And whereas she went on to be promoted to Director of Community Health Planning, deputy health officer, and ultimately the health officer, her current position. And whereas the mission of the Berrien County Health Department is to serve the residents of Berrien County by preventing disease, protecting health, and promoting an optimal quality of life for all, and under Ms. Britton's leadership, the Berrien County Health Department has done just that. Whereas Ms. Britton is ending her employment with Berrien County on July 9, 2021. And it is appropriate to thank her for her time and talents to make Berrien County a better place to live, work, and play. Now therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Berrien County Board of Commissioners thanks Nikki Britton for being a true asset to the citizens of Berrien County and wishes her much luck in her future endeavors. Signed by all members of the Board of Commissioners. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So
Moved by Harrison, supported by Meeks. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hankelman,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Walrath, Werfel, Yarborough,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, you have 12 yeas.
thank you. Head over here, make sure that I can get in the camera. As I mentioned to Tom, the best compliment is to tell you how much, including our weekly COVID briefings.
You're not sick of that yet?
Oh, no, it's always enjoyable. And we know there was a fair amount of work to get ready for those. And, all of us who participated, I think, would agree that it was very helpful. We're glad that you're still going to be a neighbor. And I won't compromise you. I can do an elbow bump if you wish. But thank you very much.
You got a turn second.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was good for mine, Shara.
Wasn't good.
He's carrying it down.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome if you wish. If you don't, that's understandable too. But if you want to say a few words, just touch that little thing there in front of the mic.
You could do one last COVID update.
Yeah.
Really?
Annette? There we go.
Fingers don't register. No, I just, thank you so much. It has been, I mean, as you heard in that resolution, I've grown up in my career. I came here fresh out of grad school. So much of my growth and development has happened here in Berrien County. I will forever be grateful for that. Being a public servant has meant the world to me. Serving the residents of this county, making sure to put people first in everything we do has meant so much, and that's something I will carry forward. I will be a public servant always, maybe not always in a governmental setting, but always serving the people. And I thank you so much for all of your leadership and support. Really looking forward to all of the great things that are on the horizon for the health department and the county moving forward as well. Glad I get to stay here, be sort of part of that on the sidelines, still in the community. So grateful for that. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Nikki. Nikki, Tom, we understand if you have things to do. You won't offend anyone if you want to cut out of the meeting. We can take a break if you want to make an exit. We went over formal that those who were not able to be here last week should have received. And, year.
Yeah.
We are still people that we may. What did we? Motion to approve the calendar is moved by Borat, supported by Kern. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The calendar is approved and can go out on the website. Committee reports. EHS is first on the list.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met this morning, reviewed a number of resolutions, one which was on the consent calendar today, but then there are 4 others that will come to you at your next meeting. All of them relate to services provided by the health department involving tuberculosis treatment, water testing of beaches in Lake Michigan, adjustment of the fee schedule for COVID administration fees, and then also funding for counseling and support for our health department staff. The committee reviewed each of those, discussed at length, and will recommend those for your consideration and approval at the next meeting. We also had several advanced step hires or transfers, one from the prosecutor's office and 2 from the health department. We reviewed those in detail and approved those. So I'd be glad to answer any questions or go into additional detail if the commissioners requested it.
Questions for PHS? Julie?
I just have a question regarding on the consent agenda today, just a little background on it, if you would.
Sure. Nikki has been the point person for the health department negotiations and discussions with the local school districts and the Berrien RESA. And so the thought is to have her available to Courtney and to Brian as those discussions start for the rollout of the fall schedule. It's important that we have, general agreement and consistency among all the school districts. And so the idea is to have her support there. So it's a very minor amount, and the contract would end in August. So I've been contacted by one of the local school districts regarding the plans for the fall and how we'll go about making decisions and recommendations. Any other questions?
All right then, admin.
Thank you, Mac. We met this morning down in the Auto Gra room. First we had in was Sheriff Bailey and Greg Trail, our new road department superintendent. And one of the resolutions that we have already approved on the consent agenda was 275. And MDOT on M139 is replacing the culvert. So they have shut down a portion of M139, and the detour is down John Beers Road to Hollywood Road to Linco Road. It's basically coming around that area. The sheriff received some communications yesterday that the traffic, number one, on those county roads was fast. And right now it's harvest season, so you got a lot of farm implements there. You got semi-traffic now that's coming off M139. And so they being the road department, felt that the best solution right now was to put up additional signage, reduce the speed limit to 45, or now it's 55, and they're gonna evaluate that for a week. And they've got MDOT's blessing with all of this. Because what we learned is that even though it's M139 is the road being under repair, the county roads are actually the responsibility of MDOT when they set up the detour, which would be the same for us. If it's the county road that we're closing, but we're detouring them onto a state trunk line, we are responsible for all of that. And so Greg said that he has been in contact with MDOT, so they know what we're doing. MDOT is also helping as best they can. So that was the traffic control order that we passed this morning, was do the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. They're going to evaluate it. They're going to watch it and see what happens here in the next week. There needs to be any changes or tweaks, we'll update the board. But right now, that's what that was all about. And it sounds like they've got it pretty well under control. And the road's going to be closed till the second week of September. So that's the other issue. It's not just a week closure, it's months. So we did that this morning and you folks approved it. We appreciate that. Tom Watson and Lisa were in to see us, and Commissioner Volrath is going to report out on Tom's report from the front of the court.
Got it. Yeah, our outgoing friend of the court, Tom, was there, of course, and then Lisa Jardine, who's the incoming one, visited with us. It was a emotional meeting with Tom having most of the emotion on his side because he's going out, but very happy to be with us. The last time they were visiting with us was October, he said, of 2019. So it's been a while since he's been in. He gave us a lot of numbers and things, but some of the most interesting ones I found was that they had a little celebration this week because, like somebody said earlier, 2005 was when they started putting all their files in the computer. They didn't have paper backups for all that. Everything was in, and they had the last paper file that they didn't go back and do all the old ones. But the last paper file from 2005 was going out this week, and they had a little celebration because that ended any paper in their office. I wasn't aware when everybody shut down last year and sent folks home that the friend of the court, they were back in their offices. They had half staffs around June of 2020, and they were back into full staffing in July of last year of 2020. So they were back in office. They have no backlog right now. They're completely up to date. The criminal courts are way, way behind, but friend of the court is completely up to date. A few of the numbers that you may or may not remember, but collections on child support, the IRS intercepted collections of over $1.75 million. Unemployment in IRS came in at $3.43 million. And this was money that was coming to folks who owed child support, who may have lost their jobs, now collecting unemployment. All these things were factored in and the money kept flowing, but instead of coming out of their checks at work, it was coming out of their unemployment, their taxes, their tax refunds. So there was still collections going on, even though folks were not out of work, collecting their unemployment, they were still having to pay. In Tom's tenure, they built a real closer relationship with the prosecutor's office, which means a lot of the dads who were not paying and ignoring them got to visit and got to visit Paul Bailey's hotel over there for a while too. So they don't like using the hammer, but they're not afraid to if they have to. So they have made a lot of more use of the computer where people can get online at home. They don't have to come into the court to do the things, change employees, change their status, any of those type of things. And also he's saying there may be another amnesty program coming up in the near future for those folks who don't like to go to the courthouse for any reason, because somebody might be waiting there to take them over to Sheriff Bailey. So they had amnesty things in the past where they could come in, they wouldn't arrest them if they had warrants for them to take care of their business with the friend of court, but everything should go smoothly now. With Tom leaving, Lisa coming in, the handoff, everything should go very, very well.
Thanks, Dave. The only thing I would add to that too is that in addition to the unemployment tax, those incentive checks, the stimulus checks.
Oh, yeah.
They intercepted them too. So if somebody was gonna get a stimulus check, they didn't get it. It went to the friend of the court. Okay, then we had our county administrator and our board chair in to see us. We discussed the resolution on the M139 detour. We talked about the PA1 money. And then we approved our minutes. Then we had a public use request. Ron Gunn from the Berrien County Riders, which is a motorcycle organization, requesting to use the court parking lot on September the 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we approved that. That's our report, Mr. Chair.
Any questions for admin? Hearing none, then we will move to finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our administrator was in, talking with us in general. And then we had a presentation from our Community Development Department, the directors, Dan Fetty, and Housing Coordinator, Katie Montoya. And we just voted on this resolution, but it was about the master plan for Berrien County. Every 10 years we do a master plan. And this was not new to us just today, because we had requested bids and had none. And then we requested again and we received 2 bids. And the company we decided to go with is Williams and Works. And there was another company, I don't know the name of it. McKenna. And we're familiar with both companies. We've done business with them. The William and Works amount was a bit less. And what's so good is this company is working already with our Berrien County Planning Commission, and they mean to use the plans from all our communities and put it together so that Berrien County will not be duplicating something. Maybe it can come together and make it happen in a good way for the community as well as for the whole county. And so we had a good explanation of where it was, and what they wanted to do was for it to go through today with the consent of the whole board, because they need to get started as soon as possible. And we paid bills and adopted the minutes, and that's our report. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for finance? Moving on then to commissioner reports. We'll go around the horn, John.
I attended the meeting of the health board yesterday morning. We heard Nikki's last COVID briefing, so that was interesting. And then also Courtney did a good job talking about services and how they're organized at the health department post-COVID, at least post high level of cases. So it was a good meeting, and I think the HP had a nice report on some of what we talked about.
I received a few calls from a few of our community residents in St. Joe about some of the congested parking in Silver Beach. And so I got with Brian, and we have a meeting on the books for tomorrow to discuss what the county can do along with the city of St. Joseph to kind of resolve some of that traffic down there below the Buff.
I don't have a report, but I do have a comment. You know, as much as I enjoyed sitting on my deck and participating in these meetings via Zoom, being back here in person and being able to do the honorary resolutions that we did, I think means so much more. And not only to the folks who are leaving, but the sheriff's department, to be able to recognize those guys in our setting here in person. We could never do that via Zoom. And if we did, it would not have the same meaning and the same impact that it does when they're here live and in person. So this is only our second meeting in person, and even I'm adjusting to the schedule, but we're getting there. But I'm just kind of glad we're back, and I'm glad that we were able to make those presentations in person.
Thanks, Jim. Dave?
I have no report.
I have no report, but I will ditto what Jim said. It was nice to be together.
Well, you took mine from me. What did I ditto? No report.
No report.
No report.
No report.
One of the better reporting rounds that I can recall.
Sorry, I'm going to break the streak. You just spoke about returning to normal. Next week will be a little bit of a curveball for the commissioners. So today, we got through the pictures. Next week, Annette, what time do we plan to get underway for Committee of the Whole?
8 o'clock, Committee of the Whole, and a very, very short committee meeting at 5 o'clock to 10:15, and just you absolutely have full board attention.
So for next week, just prepare yourselves. It'll be a little bit lengthy, but we'll be engaged in part of the strategic planning effort. So Jim Hettinger will be in the room. He'll be working directly with each of you. So again, 8 o'clock next Thursday in here, and then a very brief committees at 10 o'clock. So, Mr. Chair, those are my comments.
Very good. Thank you. And it looks like we'll be back to the regular routine on the 22nd, just in time to meet once and then not meet on the 29th, and then we'll go into August. So, anybody have anything in the way of calendar questions before we go to general public comments? All right, general public comments now. If anyone has anything they'd like to share in 2 minutes or less, please say your name and where you're from.
Pelter, Hager Township, sitting so long time, little stiff. And see, it must have been picture day, right? That look real nice. Okay, let me give you some advice. I taught school for 33 years. You know, when you vote on something, like when I ask a kid for something, I'll do is ask them to raise their hand. I know you probably can't do that. So you waste, legally, you probably have to, everybody has to have their name called, right? And that, I went home and watched it last week. It's on whatever, YouTube or whatever. I watched it about 3 or 4 days later, and it's excellent. And I looked at the numbers of people that are watching it. You know, usually when we're on virtual, about 30 people, right? This time I had 90 people watching it. There's a lot of people watching it. They know what's going on because they get a chance to watch it. So don't get rid of it. You only got about 6 people here, say. Now, in the well, I guess you can't make a comment. Now, what's that thing over there?
That's so you don't see my face on the screen.
Do what?
That's so you don't see my face on the screen.
Why not?
You don't need.
So what my suggestion is, you know, keep it going. Don't even think about it. Because you're gonna have more people participate, or at least you find out what you guys are doing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peltzer. Anyone else? Please say your name and where you're from, sir.
Yes, my name is Michael Albert Hoy. I'm from the city of Benton Harbor, 292 Bellevue in the city of Benton Harbor. And I today am here for Berrien County Strong Community in Action. And so I represent, I'm the administrator for that social media group. This social media group came out of the killings and the shootings of Ron and Joe, which we're getting ready to embark on. And I kind of get a little caught up with that because it's right also before my birthday and it's a hard time to celebrate. But as we embark upon that, I just wanted to share with you that the Benton Harbor Strong team came out of that. And we were the ones who actually put together with Greta Volkenstein, the ones who put together the candlelight vigil and gave the memorial and said that both of our communities went through something at the same time. And we were the ones who brought the march across the bridge. As we embark upon that again this year, I don't like to call it an anniversary, but just a remembrance of Joe and Ron, because they both were part of my life and they contribute to the person who I am today. And in that, what grew out of Benton Harbor Strong team, and I'm the administrator to that, is that we started with 6 people to show what Benton Harbor is really doing, what Benton Harbor is really about. And now we grew into 28 the next year, and then we grew into, now we have over 209 people that are part of the Benton Harbor Strong team that makes Berrien County strong. And that's what I'm here to share with you, that now we're into our 4th year, and we have 209 individuals. And please go visit our Facebook page, Berrien County Strong Community in Action, and the Benton Harbor chapter, because Benton Harbor is really contributing to the strongness and changing the conversation in Berrien County. And to also remember Ron and Joe coming up in this giving couple days. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Aaron Sheriff, Whitestone Township. Last week I mentioned the roads, and they've been done, Park Road. As far as I'm concerned, the road commission did a fantastic job of working on that road. My concern now is how do we preserve it? Without any weight limits on some of these things, and speed on it has picked up a little tremendously since it's been fixed, because there's no potholes at the present time. But what can we do to maintain it in a better condition as it's in right now? Otherwise, we're gonna be right back in a year or probably 2 years fixing potholes again. That's my tax dollars, your tax dollars are going not to maintain the, build new roads, but to maintain the old roads we're putting potholes in. So anyway, that's my concern as to, for you people to work on, is how can we, what can we do to maintain the condition of the road and when it is as today, or has been repaired and fixed. They tell me you can't put weight limits on it, so what else can we do? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scheer. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Just a quick note. On 94, there are 3 signs going eastbound. There's 3 signs going westbound, telling the trucks to get off at Napier, take bypass and go south. Truckers are doing what they want. So I mean, it's state's got very well marked for M139, but the signs are there. They were put up last Saturday. So I don't know why the trucks continue to go down there, but maybe the state, the sheriffs need to enforce the temporary truck route.
Tony, just for our record, say your name and where you're from. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to other business. Does anyone have any? Announcements and reminders. You've already heard we're going to get together at 8 o'clock next Thursday morning for strategic planning. I don't know of anything else between now and then. Do you have anything? No, sir. Anyone have anything? All right, we stand adjourned then to Thursday next at 8 a.m.
Thank you. The requisition list is coming around, please, you guys leave.
We're just.